Have you ever looked at two people, both born in early April, both technically an Aries, and thought to yourself, how can these two humans be so completely, fundamentally different? One is a force of nature, a born leader who kicks down doors and builds empires from the rubble. The other is a quiet storm of creativity, a visionary whose passion seems to bend reality around them. And then there's a third, a restless spirit, a wanderer with a fire in their eyes that seems to be looking at a horizon no one else can see. How is this possible? How can one astrological sign contain such a multitude of souls? This isn't just a curiosity, it's a paradox that cuts to the very heart of who we are. And it's a question that has followed me for years in countless readings and conversations. People come to me, Anya Sage, as a psychological astrologer, often with this exact sense of confusion. They'll say, Anya, the books tell me I'm an Aries, so I should be this aggressive, competitive warrior. But I don't feel like a warrior. I feel like an artist. Or, my best friend is an Aries, and he's the most philosophical, go-with-the-flow person I know. It doesn't make sense. And my answer to them is always the same, and it's the answer I'm here to share with you today. It doesn't make sense because you've only been told 1/3 of the story. You've been handed a pamphlet when you should have been given the whole book. Because the truth is, there are 3 distinct types of Aries, 3 archetypes, each forged by a different celestial fire. And while all are powerful, the ancient texts and my own experience suggest that one of them is, by far, the most striking of all. A version of Aries so unique, so expansive, that once you understand it, you'll never see the first sign of the Zodiac the same way again. So, let's solve this paradox together. The answer isn't found in a pop. Imagine a Zodiac sign not as a solid block of color, but as a beautiful gradient, shifting its hue every 10 degrees. Each 30-degree sign is divided into 3 of these 10-degree sections. These are the Decans. And while you are always in Aries, the specific Decan your birthday falls into determines your secondary ruler, a planet that co-authors your personality, infusing your core Aries fire with its own unique energy. For Aries, this is where everything changes. The raw, untamed fire of the ram is filtered through 3 vastly different planetary lenses. The first Decan is ruled by Mars, the planet of war, action, and pure, unadulterated will. The second is ruled by the Sun, the heart of our solar system, the source of life, creativity, and radiance. And the third is ruled by Jupiter, the great benefic, the planet of expansion, luck, philosophy, and grand adventure. Mars, the Sun, Jupiter, a warrior, a king, and a philosopher. This is why one Aries can be so profoundly different from the next. They are drawing their power from different cosmic wells. So, before we dive into the first archetype, I want you to do something for me. Pause for a moment and find your place in this cosmic map. The first Decan is March 21st to March 30th. The second is March 31st to April 9th. And the third is April 10th to April 19th. Go ahead and drop your birth date in the comments below. Let's see which Decan of Aries dominates our community of seekers. Don't be shy. This is a space of discovery. All right, do you have your Decan? Then let's begin our journey. Let's meet the first child of Aries. Type 1, the warrior, March 21st to March 30th. If you were born in the first 10 days of the astrological new year, your cosmic DNA is pure, undiluted Aries. Your primary ruler is Mars, and your Decan ruler is also Mars. This is what we call a double dose of martial energy. You are, in the most profound sense, the warrior. When we think of the stereotypical Aries, this is who we're picturing. But the stereotype is a caricature. The reality is a masterpiece of focus and will. The warrior is the pioneer, the trailblazer, the one who doesn't just see a wall, but instinctively calculates the fastest way to get through it, over it, or around it. Their life force is one of pure ignition. They don't have ideas. They have impulses that demand action. There is no long, drawn-out process of deliberation. There is a spark, a goal, and then immediate decisive movement. They are the embodiment of the phrase, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single, explosive step." But here is where the deeper understanding begins. The key to the warrior's soul is not their aggression, but their self-sufficiency. They are born with a profound, almost startling sense of independence. From a very young age, this isn't born from cynicism, but from an overflowing wellspring of personal capability. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for consensus. They are a force of one. This leads to one of their most misunderstood traits, their relationship with solitude. To the outside world, a first Decan Aries might seem aloof, distant, even a loner. But they do not experience solitude as loneliness. Never. For the warrior, solitude is the command tent. It's the sacred silence where strategy is born. Picture a general alone at a map table at 3 a.m. The entire army is asleep, but they are awake, their mind a supernova of tactics and possibilities. They are charting the course, seeing 10 moves ahead, while everyone else is still dreaming. That is the inner world of a Mars-ruled Aries. Solitude is their whetstone. It's where they sharpen the blade of their focus to a razor's edge. They thrive under pressure. In fact, they require it. A life without challenge for a first Decan Aries is a kind of slow death. They are the hero who is only truly alive when facing the dragon. In a crisis, when everyone else is panicking, look for the warrior. They will be the calmest person in the room, not because they are fearless, but because their entire being is designed for this very moment. Chaos brings them into focus. It is their natural element. And because they are so fiercely self-reliant, their loyalty, when given, is absolute. A warrior doesn't have a wide circle of shallow acquaintances. They have a small, fortified perimeter of people they consider their own. And if you are inside that circle, they will go to war for you without a moment's hesitation. Their love is not expressed in flowery words, but in action. They show they care by protecting, by providing, by doing. They are the friend who shows up with a shovel at 2 a.m., no questions asked. Their challenge? The world is not always a battlefield. Their hammer-like focus can sometimes see every problem as a nail. Learning the art of softness, of diplomacy, of accepting that some things cannot be conquered, but must be allowed to unfold. This is their lifelong spiritual assignment. They have the fire to start the engine, but they must learn when to let someone else take the wheel. This is the first face of Aries, pure, direct, and unstoppable. The point of the spear. But what happens when you take that fire, and instead of giving it a sword, you give it a paintbrush? What happens when that raw energy is filtered through the heart of our solar system? Type 2, the passionate one, March 31st to April 9th. If you were born in the middle of the Aries season, you are a child of the sun. Your primary ruler is still Mars, giving you that quintessential Aries fire. But your Decan is governed by the sun itself. This creates a breathtakingly different kind of individual. The passionate one, the visionary, the creator. This is where our journey of contrast truly begins. Because to understand the passionate one, you must hold them up against the light of the warrior we just met. Where the Mars-ruled warrior acts on pure, unadulterated instinct. The sun-ruled passionate one acts from a place of creative vision. The warrior sees a mountain and wants to conquer it. The passionate one sees a mountain and envisions the magnificent temple that could be built upon its peak. Their drive isn't just to act, but to create. Their fire is not the wildfire of a conqueror, but the sustained, radiant burn of a forge, where raw materials are transformed into something beautiful and enduring. Think about their ruling influences. Mars is a soldier. The sun is a king, a star, the center of everything. This imbues the second Decan Aries with a natural, magnetic charisma that the warrior often lacks. People are drawn to the passionate one. They don't lead by giving orders from the front line like the warrior does. They lead by radiating a vision so compelling that others can't help but want to be a part of it. They have a gravity to them. When they speak about what they love, their passion is so palpable, so authentic, that it becomes a source of light and warmth for everyone around them. Let's revisit the idea of solitude. The warrior seeks solitude for strategy, to plan the campaign. The passionate one seeks solitude for a different reason: creative incubation. It's not a war room. It's a studio, a laboratory, a sanctuary. They need quiet not to outwit an opponent, but to hear the whispers of their own soul. This is where their vision clarifies, where the chaotic storm of ideas coalesces into a singular, brilliant concept. To interrupt a passionate one in their creative solitude is to blot out the sun. The most profound difference, however, lies in their ultimate motivation. The warrior is driven to win, to achieve, to prove their strength. Their accomplishments are often trophies, markers of their power in the world. But the passionate one is driven by a desire that is far more existential. They are driven to create for the sake of purpose, not for applause. I want you to truly absorb this distinction. The sun does not shine to be seen. It does not radiate heat to get a round of applause from the planets. It shines because it is its fundamental nature to do so. And so it is with the sun-ruled Aries. The art they make, the company they found, the family they raise, the movement they inspire, these are not projects. They are solar flares of their soul. They are tangible pieces of their own life force, made manifest in the world. Their driving question is not, can I win? But does this have meaning? Does this feel alive? They are creating legacies. The warrior builds an empire which can crumble. The passionate one builds a legacy, which can inspire long after they are gone. While the warrior is focused on the what and the how, the passionate one is obsessed with the why. They cannot and will not live an uninspired life. A life devoid of passion is to them the only true failure. This makes their emotions incredibly intense. They are ruled by the fire of Mars and the fire of the sun. This is a double inferno. Their joy is blinding, their love is consuming, and their anger, when roused, is the righteous fury of a deity whose temple has been defiled. They have an unshakable sense of creative and personal integrity. To ask them to compromise their vision is to ask them to stop being themselves. It is an impossible request. Their spiritual task is to learn how to manage this incredible fire without getting burned. They must learn that not every creative impulse needs to become a life or death mission, and that the world doesn't always operate with the same level of integrity and passion that they do. They must learn to protect their inner flame from the winds of cynicism and indifference, without letting it consume them from the inside out. So, we have met the unstoppable warrior, the point of the spear, fueled by the relentless drive of Mars, and we have met the visionary, passionate one, the heart of the fire, illuminated by the creative majesty of the sun, two incredible, powerful expressions of the Aries spirit. But a promise was made at the beginning of our journey, a promise of a third type, the number one, most striking of them all. What could possibly be more striking than a fearless warrior who can build empires with their bare hands? What could be more magnetic than a visionary creator who can build legacies from the fire of their soul? What kind of Aries is born when you take that primal fire and infuse it with the energy of Jupiter, the planet of expansion, of luck, of wisdom, of boundless exploration? What happens when the ram is given not a sword, not a crown, but a compass and an infinite map? Prepare yourself, because now we meet the adventurer. Climax number 1, the adventurer, April 10 to April 19th. If you were born in the final 10 days of Aries, you have won a kind of cosmic lottery. Your core Aries fire, ruled by Mars, is now co-piloted by the great benefic, Jupiter. This is the celestial combination that creates the third and, in many ways, the ultimate expression of the Aries spirit, the adventurer. This is the Aries that shatters all stereotypes. This is the lone wolf, the philosopher king, the seeker. To understand them, you must let go of all previous notions of Aries aggression or creative intensity, and instead embrace the concept of boundless expansion. Jupiter's influence transforms the Aries drive in a fundamental way. The warrior wants to conquer the world. The passionate one wants to build a new world. But the adventurer wants to experience the world. All of it. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the terrifying. Their enemy is not a person or a challenge. Their enemy is routine. It is stagnation. It is the gray, predictable safety of a life lived within the lines. Let's construct a metaphor to grasp their soul. Imagine them as a cosmic cartographer. The warrior and the passionate one are given existing maps, and they master them, one by conquering the territory, the other by building on it. But the adventurer looks at the map and is only drawn to the blank spaces, the parts labeled "Here be dragons." Their life's purpose is not to follow a map, but to draw it with their own footsteps. To illustrate this, let me tell you a short story. A story that is the essence of the Jupiter-ruled Aries. Picture a young adventurer sitting in a beautiful, secure office. They have the good job. The predictable career path is laid out before them like a pristine, freshly paved highway. Everyone tells them they are lucky, that they have it made, and they should feel grateful. But they don't. They feel a deep, spiritual suffocation, as if they are living in a perfectly decorated, perfectly comfortable cage. On their wall is a map of the world, and every night, they stare at the vast, unnamed mountain ranges of Patagonia, the chaotic, vibrant coastlines of Vietnam, the immense, silent plains of the Serengeti. Those places feel more real, more like home than the chair they are sitting in. One day, the feeling becomes unbearable. The warrior would have staged a coup at the office. The passionate one would have started their own, more inspiring company on the side. The adventurer does something far more terrifying and far more liberating. They walk in, they resign, they cash out their small savings, and they buy a one-way ticket to a place they can't even pronounce, where they know no one and don't speak the language. This is not an act of rebellion. It is an act of alignment. It is their soul finally taking a deep breath. The journey is not a vacation. It is an ordeal. They get lost. They get their wallets stolen in a crowded market. They are forced to sleep on floors and communicate with gestures and a desperate smile. They face moments of profound loneliness and doubt, where the safe life they left behind seems like a paradise. A Mars-ruled Aries would fight their way out. A Sun-ruled Aries would try to organize and improve the situation. But the Jupiter-ruled adventurer does something remarkable. They laugh. Because of Jupiter's gift of optimism and faith, they don't see these challenges as failures or setbacks. They see them as the plot. This is the story. This is the adventure they came for. Running out of money and learning to trade work for a meal isn't a disaster. It's a chapter in their book called The Currency of Human Kindness. Getting lost in a jungle isn't a terrifying mistake. It's an unscheduled lesson in navigation from the stars themselves. They thrive in the unknown because the unknown is the only place where true discovery is possible. They are masterful storytellers, not because they embellish, but because they have lived stories worth telling. Their independence is on a completely different axis. The warrior is independent because they are self-sufficient. The passionate one is independent because their vision is internal. The adventurer is independent because their soul answers to no flag, no company, and no dogma, only to the call of the horizon. Their exploration isn't just for thrills. It is their form of self-discovery. Every risk taken, every border crossed, every stranger's story listened to is a journey inward. They are exploring the world to map the limitless terrain of their own potential. And this reveals the ultimate truth of the Jupiter-ruled Aries. It is a philosophy they embody, a teaching they offer to the world simply by existing. It's a truth that resonates deep within all of us, no matter our sign. Life is a grand, ongoing adventure. This simple, profound philosophy is the gift of the adventurer. It is the culmination of the Aries journey. The fire of Mars gives you the courage to start the adventure. The light of the sun gives you the passion to find meaning within it. And the wisdom of Jupiter gives you the faith to embrace the entire journey, especially the parts that don't go according to plan. When we put the three archetypes side by side, we see not a contradiction, but a beautiful, complete story of what it means to be a pioneer. The warrior builds empires. The passionate one builds legacies. The adventurer builds a life worth telling stories about. One builds with stone and steel, creating structures of power and safety in the world. The other builds with light and fire, creating works of art and inspiration that warm the soul. The last builds with footsteps and memories, creating a personal epic, a testament to the fact that the greatest treasure is a life fully lived. Three paths, all born from the same primordial fire. One is not better than the other. They are simply different expressions of courage, of will, of the unquenchable human spirit that Aries so perfectly represents. Wrap up. So whether you are the focused warrior, channeling the pure, driving force of Mars, or the radiant, passionate one, transforming your inner light into a tangible legacy with the power of the sun, or the boundless adventurer, turning life itself into a grand exploration under the benevolent gaze of Jupiter. Your birth date doesn't just give you a label. It reveals the unique cosmic signature, the specific flavor of fire that makes you the Aries you are. It's the secret chapter in your soul's autobiography. So which are you? The warrior, the passionate one, or the adventurer? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If this reading resonated with you, if it felt like coming home to a part of yourself you couldn't quite name, the most meaningful way to support our work is to like this video and to subscribe for more deep dives into your cosmic blueprint. It is the fuel that allows us to keep exploring these mysteries together.